Hello everyone and welcome back to my art channel. For those of you new here, my name is Alina. I'm a fiction writer by day and a wannabe artist also by day because let's face it, I'm a big baby. I need my beauty sleep and lots of it, so nothing happens by night. Anyway, this channel is dedicated to my very fresh art journey, and by fresh I mean I've barely started. And as the title says, I'm doing a watercolor piece in this video. I've been trying to brush up my watercolor skills, and I went with a few tutorials by Lindsay from the Frugal Crafter because she explains things quite well. But that said, this wasn't exactly a success, although I really liked the result and it served the purpose I needed it to serve. But I feel like I'm a bit rusty and that I can't adapt really well all the time when I do not have the exact same supplies as the person doing a tutorial. Lindsay is really good at explaining what you can use instead, and she has a lot of details on her blog as well. I highly recommend you follow her if you're into watercolor and you want to improve. But sometimes I miscalculate what can replace what and how much of it to use and how to go about it. Besides, my paper is not the best. The one I'm using now is slightly better than what I had in the past, but it's still not great. It buckles a lot. It dries up really fast, but then it buckles a lot as well. It's really weird. And I'm trying my best to make it work. Now, this piece that I'm doing is an adaptation of Lindsay's tutorial because I wanted a portrait and a smaller piece for my bullet journal. I usually like to have a painting that I did for a specific month, but lately I wasn't feeling up to it, and I've kind of recycled older paintings for my bullet journal. So this is the first one I've done in quite a while. I think since I did my January and 2020 setup back in December. So yeah, here we are. This audio is probably completely weird, like the voiceover I mean, because I know I'm not going to edit it because it's so freaking late, and I had a lot of issues editing the footage I had for this painting. But I want to slowly get back into some sort of a schedule. I keep saying that I'll be more consistent on my YouTube channels, but I haven't so far this year. It's been a tough one on several levels, not just the whole issue that's now going on in the entire world, which hasn't helped, but it was just a cherry on top of a very troublesome start of 2020. So I pretty much decided that if I do not feel like doing things, I just won't do them if they're not mandatory, so stuff for work, because I needed to somehow put less pressure on myself. But now I really enjoy painting again, even if in this particular piece the struggle was real. It didn't turn out as the tutorial piece. It didn't turn out as I imagined it turning out, but in the end it's not that bad. I mean, it's not the worst thing I ever did in watercolor. I've seriously done much worse. And you know, you can't always have a win. This is one of 3 tutorials from Lindsay that I played with in the last week, and the more I do it, I feel I've become a bit better. My watercolors, these are a Daler Rowney set. I think they're student grade, but a higher end student grade. I'm not sure. I don't think they're professional, although they're not the cheapest either for what they are. But it's the best quality I could find at a sort of affordable price over here. And I plan to use them and use the paper I have and improve as much as I can, because I feel like you can do a lot with these paints. They're not bad paints. They're pretty good compared with other stuff that I had that was absolutely awful, and I still had fun with those. I'm enjoying them. I'm enjoying doing the tutorials, so I'm gonna keep going. Even if, like I said, like in this piece, it didn't turn out absolutely amazing. It still turned out to be a nice illustration for a bullet journal setup, which is what it was supposed to be. By the way, if you want to see that, my bullet journal setups go to my author channel, because the whole setup is mostly around my my work life and, you know, writing trackers, editing trackers, book reading trackers, things like that. So they go to that channel, but I will leave a link in the description or in the info box for you if you want to see that. So at the end of the day, this painting served its purpose, which was for me to practice and learn a few things, for me to get a nice illustration for my bullet journal, which, you know, it's nice as far as something I did goes. So I'm happy with that. And to help me relax a bit, which it did, because no matter how much I struggle with a painting, and no matter how not great it turns out, I still am relaxed while doing it, and I still enjoy it. So it was perfect. In fact, because I've done quite a few pieces recently, I decided that in April I'll try to make a little painting every day. They won't all be watercolor, because I caved in and actually used some of the birthday money I got, because, you know, it's easier to get that than gifts right now. And I went ahead and ordered myself gouache, pretty nice gouache. And the moment that arrives, I'm going to mix it and do watercolor some days and gouache other days. I used Miriam Tilson's PDF guide that's attached to her. I think it's a 3-part, or was it a 4-part? I don't know. She has a series on YouTube on gouache. So it's sort of like a series of tutorials that teach you about gouache, and I'm going to go through all of those, but I also used it to decide what colors to start with, if that makes sense. I had to find some sort of replacements for most of the colors. She uses Winsor & Newton Designer Gouache. I did find a site that had them, but then they had another brand of gouache that was officially a bit more expensive than the baseline for the Winsor & Newton, but because they were just clearing their stocks, they put all of those on a sale, and I got them at 50% off. And besides that, they didn't have all the colors I needed from Winsor & Newton. They also had some Daler Rowney professional gouache. I don't know how they're called. I forgot the name of the brand, but I can check. And I pretty much tried to mix and match, but at the end of the day, I ended up with mostly stuff from that brand that was on discount. I have no idea what they're called right now. I can't remember. I know I have some student acrylics from them, and they're not bad at all. So I'm really excited to try that. I got some new brushes, along with them, and my first Fabriano watercolor pad, which is like cellulose and some cotton in it. I'm really curious how that will feel. It's of course more expensive than anything I have in terms of paper. I do have a mixed media pad from Fabriano, and that's great, but it has a lot more paper, and it's a different thing. It's not watercolor paper, so I'm really excited to try it for the first time. I'm sure I'll show you. And going back to my attempt at doing watercolor tutorials, I wanted to film every day. And today I did my painting and I'm quite happy with it. As I'm filming now, well, recording my voiceover, I'm looking at it from a bit of a distance, and it looks way better than close up. But it doesn't look bad. I kind of like it. And I'll post a photo of it on Instagram, but I was going to film every day, and today before I started painting I actually set up OBS to record and made sure everything was in focus, and then I never pressed play because I'm an idiot sometimes. So long story short, I do not have a video for that, but I will try to record at least some of the others and see how it goes. I'm curious how I'll have improved at the end of a month of trying to paint every day with watercolor and gouache. I'm not sure what I'm doing about the live streams, because I usually do digital art for those. I might keep doing that and have the watercolor and gouache painting be a bit of an extra thing that I do. But we'll see, I guess. We'll see. I'm sorry if this voiceover was all over the place and rambly. Like I said, I had a lot of issues is the word I'm trying to say. I had a lot of issues with Premiere Pro today, specifically with the footage for this painting, because it was an hour and a half long and Premiere Pro wouldn't import it, and then it did import it, but it was so slow and it wouldn't work and I couldn't edit. And after wasting a day of that, it was either do a kind of off the cuff unedited audio or postpone this and probably never post it again, because that happened a lot. I filmed a lot of videos that I never posted because I was supposed to do voiceovers for them and never did. So I decided to just do my best and try to be honest about what I've been doing and how I'm struggling with this. Watercolors are hard. It's not an easy medium, but it's a very fun and very rewarding medium, and that is why I enjoy it so much. Because honestly, if I do an acrylics tutorial, I usually end up with a way better result. My results are hit and miss when I try to do stuff myself from reference without a tutorial. With watercolor, it happens quite often that it doesn't turn out as I wanted it to, but you know, it's decent enough, so I want to try more. It's important to see the struggle of it as well, because art is hard. It's very, very hard, especially when you're a beginner and you don't know where to start and what to learn first. And it's important, I think, to see people struggling but stick with it, because it's really easy to give up when it gets difficult, because it takes a long time. Hope you've enjoyed this and my rambly chat, and I will keep doing my best to post more content for you, and I will see you soon. Thank you. Bye.